I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Almighty God, as we gather, we thank you for the opportunity to be here and serve. We thank you for those that we serve, and we ask that you would bless all of them through us, through the decisions we make and the actions we take. Amen. Amen. The first thing we have on the agenda is the public comment. So, James, you are welcome to come up. And the little spiel that I told you that I would say would be that remember that this is a time where it's important for us to hear what you have to say. Because of sunshine laws, we can listen, we really can't comment, we can't ask questions. Occasionally very limited questions, but no leading questions in any way. It's a time for us to just receive the information. We already talked about that it is being recorded and broadcast, and you already know all the rest of it, so you go ahead.
They really chose the most exciting person to talk on this, to really test this system out. So I'm going to stand just so I can see everybody.
Yes, that's fine.
As I was talking to Mr. Wilkins prior to this, I am not trying to be offensive, so in the name of the Sunshine Law, please just listen to this and know, I talked to Charles earlier in the week. This is just something I really felt like I had to get off my chest. And so saying this, I know that things are hard, and I know that you guys make hard decisions a lot. So please take it from that frame of reference. So I'm going to start out with what I've written because I know we don't have a lot of time. Okay. Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. I am Jamie DeFalco, if you don't know me. And I'm here as a concerned parent of 2 students in the school district. I want to address the overall lack of consistency within our school district. While it's often said that nothing in education in our state is consistent, right? I believe that we must explore out-of-the-box strategies to provide our students with a sense of stability and continuity in their education, both day-to-day and year-to-year. Every day, our students are expected to attend school reliably, complete assignments, and maintain good behavior. This is no small feat, especially when they are also navigating frequent changes in teachers, shifting school schedules, and evolving expectations. For example, this year, we learned just a day before the new school year that my son, who's been struggling in math, would not have a certified teacher for the 3rd time in 4 years. I understand that the board cannot discuss specific details regarding that, so I won't even delve into that. However, I'm deeply concerned that the decision to place struggling math students in a classroom without a certified teacher for 2 crucial class periods and credits, especially when they require the most support. In contrast, students enrolled in the 1-credit algebra class, those who are arguably better equipped, have access to trained and experienced teachers. This disparity strikes me as highly inequitable. For my family, we've made the difficult decision to ensure my son receives a consistent education. This means that now, thank you to Lisa, we pick him up and drop him off in the middle of the day so that he can complete his math course homework at home using a curriculum that we pay $180 per semester for. The fact that we must resort to these measures to secure a basic education for our son is troubling. And while we're fortunate enough to have the resources to make this work, I worry about so many students that don't. Additionally, my son found out this year, right before his first golf match, a match he had been practicing for all summer, that he wouldn't be allowed to play this season because his grades as a middle school student weren't good enough. We are changing some things this year, I was told by the athletic director. Even though golf interest meetings were held, summer school is an option to raise grades according to the student handbook. Neither my son or I were notified that his grades were too low to practice. And there's no way to view a GPA in life grades. It didn't matter how hard we worked last year with teachers and administration at the middle school to help him get the support he needed to learn. Even though he overcame many challenges, he was done before he ever got to play in a single match, and he didn't know it. I think about the students who might be highlighted in newspaper articles in the coming years for their failing math grades. I envision future discussions at school board meetings like this about hiring a math specialist at the high school to improve test scores. I worry about the students who feel like failures and believe they have no hope of catching up if they do not grasp foundational concepts this year. I think about the additional burden placed on teachers in future years, who will have to work twice as hard to cover the material. I think about parents who might turn to alternatives like the Hope Scholarship or homeschooling, and wonder what might have led them to that decision. I'm not here to cast blame. I'm here to ask each of you, as you make decisions tonight and every day, to think about what we can do. It's hard to find certified teachers. Our state doesn't pay teachers what they're worth. Many students need expensive individualized support, and the price of milk has doubled. That's for you. So what can we do with what we have? How can we be proud in the future of the decisions that were made today? I'm going to pass this out if that's okay for me to step up. I made a little card for you guys that I want you guys to reflect on throughout the year or whenever it's convenient for you. I'll give you guys one too. I made extra. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'll get you one by email. Okay, I'll end with a quote from my favorite book, one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits by James Clear. The book's main message is that small, consistent actions can lead to significant results. He writes in this quote, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." And I'm going to say that again. You do not rise to the level of the goals that you set. You fall to the level of systems that you built. Our goal this year may have been to have a teacher for math at the last minute, but the system that we built is one based on current need, not future results. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jamie. Good luck.
I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have student and staff recognition.
And we have the proclamation from Governor Jim Justice, and I won't read it all to you if Lisa can pull it up, but the governor has proclaimed September 19th as West Virginia School Service Personnel Day in the Mountain State and encouraged all citizens to join with him in this observation. And we typically put an ad in the Pendleton Times if you would like to see that come from them.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I will contribute to that.
Okay.
Just let us know.
And then the minutes from that's all under staff recognition.
Yes.
The next thing we have is the minutes from the August 20th, 2024 board meeting. We've received those. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes that you received? If not, do I have a motion to approve them as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approving the board minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. So we now move to personnel, and we have resignations and retirements.
Resignation retirements, Jennifer Willis, resignation from preschool K-8 teacher at Franklin Elementary, Hillary Fox, resignation at administration of medication at Brandywine Elementary School.
Yeah, my recommendation to accept the resignations as presented.
Our superintendent's recommending that we accept the resignations as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussions or any questions? Then all in favor of approving the resignation of Jennifer Willis and of the resignation of Hillary Fox, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Permission to post.
Permission to post, guidepost to graduation position.
We recently received funding to renew that position through a grant, and I would recommend permission to post that position again.
Our superintendent's recommending that we grant permission to post for the guidepost to graduation position. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussions or any questions? And all in favor of approving the posting of the guidepost to graduation position, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Employment of personnel.
Jennifer Cook, sixth grade teacher at Franklin Elementary School. Sierra Nine Miller, extracurricular before and after school reading and math tutor at Franklin Elementary School. Latasha Triplett, extracurricular before and after school reading and math tutor at Franklin Elementary School. Sam Harper, bus driver, number 7724. Charity Har, itinerant aide with autism and CPI certification at Brandywine Elementary School. Jackson Willis, half-time itinerant aide with autism and CPI certification at Franklin Elementary School. Linda Teeter, substitute teacher. Alana Collins, restricted substitute teacher.
And you have my recommendation for employment of personnel as presented.
The superintendent's recommended employing the personnel as presented. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions? Then all in favor of approving the employment of the personnel as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Approval of contracts.
Duty-free agreement, Tracy Wrightsfeld and Amy Simmons.
You have my recommendation for the approval of duty-free agreements.
Our superintendent's recommending the approval of the two duty-free agreements. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions? Then all in favor of approving the duty-free agreements for Tracy Wrightsville and Amy Simmons, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Approval of non-paid coaches, none there, so volunteers and chaperones. And
Approval of volunteer chaperones as listed at Franklin Elementary School for volunteers, Franklin Elementary School for chaperones, North Fork Elementary School for volunteers, North Fork Elementary School for chaperones, Pendleton County High School volunteers, Pendleton County High School chaperones.
And you have my recommendation for approval of volunteers and chaperones as listed.
our superintendent's recommending that we approve the volunteers and chaperones as listed. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approving the volunteers and chaperones as listed, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes and nothing under leaves of absence. So I believe that finishes us up for personnel and we move to finance.
I have one question, JD. I seen Lisa Grapes on her. She really didn't need to apply. Okay, but she's an employee, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
They don't have any, do they?
So, moving us to finance under 6A, Treasurer's Report, July of 2024. I will pull that up under 6A. So the per month ending fund balance as it was of June 30 was just over $1.1 million. This is cash basis, $1,106,667.71. Normally not much activity in July. We did receive some federal reimbursements in July, $1,154,490.55. That brought that total together just over $2.2 million. Disbursements were very small. We had bills that were approved that were very small, and payroll is just the year-round employees or any extracurricular work being done over the summer. So the payroll was $119,602.03 for the month. The net accounts payable after withholdings was $282,816.28. So the total disbursements for the month of July, $402,418.31. So the cash position improved by just over $700,000 to $1,858,839.95. So current month ending fund balance, $1,858,839.95. We still had some summer payrolls for the month of August that have not been released. They will be released. They were released over August. This is as of July 31st. So the cash in the bank position was a little bit more, over $2.2 million. but the net factoring out the summer payroll, current month ending fund balance, $1,858,839.95 for the month of July. So that's all I have on the July Treasurer's Report.
Yeah, my recommendation to approve the July 2024 Treasurers Report.
Our superintendent's recommending approval of the July 2024 Treasurers Report. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
One of you can be the motion and one of you can be
Same
the
one.
second.
Okay.
We'll just go on from there. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approving the treasurer's report with a balance of $1,858,839.95, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion passes. Bills.
All right, the next item on the board meeting is for the August bills. So I will pull those up here under 6B for the month just ended on Friday. So we will pull up August bills. So the total bills for the month, there were a couple of large payments. So the total bills for the month were $639,350.02, $639,350.02, $503 were the regular accounts payable checks, $135 for electronic. Starting off with a note on the first page of the total page, quarterly Board of Risk, BRIM, liability payments and property payments. So the combined was $37,237, much larger than what that used to be, going out to the Board of Risk, $37,237. The next page of highlights, Appalachian Signals, or ASAP as we call them. Special ed camera, Norfolk Elementary had a need to meet the mandate requirement for special ed cameras in the classrooms and placement, so just under $8,000 for that. Some funds were requested to help rejuvenate the band at the middle high school, and so several purchases there, including a computer to be up to date to assist with the band at the middle high school, and maybe use other band programs, music programs across the county. Grounds paving and construction, $90,000. That's the bus garage paving and construction. We've talked about being able to do some special projects, not as many as in the past. We did not do the entire bus garage, as Travis has mentioned, but we did do the good large front section. That was $90,400. The next item was some of the last remaining COVID money from the last couple years. COVID relief funds, $129,600. Some Chromebooks to help us keep a replacement cycle going, so $129,600. That leaves us just about $8,000 left of that $2.2 million grant that will be spent here in the month of September. So there was just about $138,000 left in that grant that has to be spent by September 30th, so that spent $129,600. We have some cases and some protection being ordered that should use up the remaining funds for that grant. Cengage Learning below just kind of shows an example of different books. There are some regular textbooks. These are calculus and pre-calculus, $4,030 to Cengage Learning. The next item of note, $14,500 for SAT, benchmark assessments, coming out of county step 7 funds, $14,500, SAT full campus assessments. Item right below that, HPS is a cooperative that Pendleton County belongs to. Most of the eastern Panhandle counties. It's a food service purchasing cooperative. They have other things besides food service, but that is one. That's the main one for us. Usually meets in Romney or somewhere in that area. HPS, the yearly fee for that, $3,275. A couple more to highlight. Lance Construction Company, Travis has worked with them on several projects over this past summer. The BES soffit repair he has talked about, trying to get ahead of that before it got too bad, $16,878. The BOE damage on this building, the corner building, we did receive insurance reimbursement of just over $2,000. We had a deductible, but the cost for that was $43.55 for the corner damage. We did receive some insurance proceeds. Lost River Meat Company, a new vendor for us this year, giving it a try on the state wants us to buy local where possible, produce and meat. So Lost River Meat Company with the burger this year goes out to bid every year, and that will be reevaluated at the end of this year, but 962801 to Lost River Meat Company for hamburger products. LW Transport, the next page, Alt Ed Building, that was getting the Alt Ed Building here, and so thankfully we found them a year or so ago, and able to transport the different sections for the Alt Ed Building. The next one, you know, as we look at this, and I've talked about this in the past, I'm going to run some reports and stand with Travis and Dan. You know, electric use, we had 2 payments there. One was for June into July, and then July into August. Paid on 8/13 on the latter end of the due date, paid on 8/29 on the front end of the due date. Don't normally have 2 payments in the month of August in 1 month. But again, higher than I would like to see. I know it was a very, very hot summer. We do have summer cleaning, summer activities. School does start in early August. Again, I just want to look at the kilowatt usage, the rates that we're being charged, and I know that we're being charged correctly, but you know, that's $46,000 of electric being paid in 1 month. Now it's for 2 months worth of usage, you know, July through August, but that's still pretty high. And so I'm gonna double check that and sit back down with Travis and Dan once I have some reports to run on that. A 12-month NESI subscription is some more software coming out of Brandywine allocation funds, some software that they use at Brandywine Elementary School for learning. That's then, let's see, a few more. South Branch Career and Technical, that percentage that Pendleton County pays, $15,627 for the option pathway teacher, the Pendleton County share. Sweetwater Sound, some bound instruments and supplies to help get some outdated instruments and supplies, again, for the music program, just over $5,400 out of instructional funds. WVU University Extension to help with the cooperative extension, the 4-H program, $6,000 from the Pendleton County Board of Ed. So that's all that I have highlighted. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Those are the ones I just made note of. Back to the total. Total for the month of August, $639,350.02.
You have my recommendation to pay the bills for August 2024.
Superintendent's recommending that we pay the bills for August. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? I was just wondering on the Chromebooks, 129,000, about how many did that buy?
It's around $400
Okay.
a Chromebook.
So
So
it's-
probably over 300 and some Chromebooks. You remember, Travis, the exact amount?
number of them.
But it was between $380 and $390, so right around $400 a Chromebook. So right around probably just over 300 Chromebooks on that. So, you know, student population at 860, counting 860 to 40 depending on the month. Staff population of around 100. So we're still in the ballpark of needing 1,000 to maintain, but that will be roughly a third of everything that we bought some others a year or so ago. So that'll be a challenge to keep running those through. They were initially purchased in 2020, Christmas of 2020. So they're coming up on 4 years of usage. So yeah, it's roughly 400.
Okay.
Do we ever remain go bad, or, I mean, kids don't turn them back in? I know that's always gonna be an issue, but, I mean, we've had many of them just go
I
bad?
mean, most of the ones that were able to get repaired. When we first started the program that we had to send them off and get them repaired. It might take weeks before they come back. But the program that Eric uses now, he mails them out and they come back pretty quickly. And most of the time, we're able to keep them in service for a very long period of time. Now and then, we have students that don't turn them back in. I mean, it's a small amount. And, you know, we ask for payment for those, or we just, you know, we figure out what we need to do with that at the school level, but it doesn't happen that often.
They're very, I used to actually do marketing for a nonprofit that would take donated old Chromebooks and refurbish them and then donate them to other nonprofits, and it's surprisingly cheap to refurbish those.
Yeah. They last a long time.
So you think we'll try over the next couple of years to replace another third each year, or we'll see how it goes?
Yeah, kind of see how it goes. I mean, he's still in the process, and I can't remember exactly what grade level he started to put some of these back into. Of course, you know, some of our high schoolers have had them from the time they were freshmen. They're seniors now, so I'm thinking he said sixth graders, I think is where he may have started inserting some of these new ones into, but, so I don't know, we're just gonna have to kind of play with it a little bit and see. I mean, this is our third order of Chromebooks, I believe. And we still got, like I said, we've still got some of our original, a lot of our originals still in use, so.
It's pretty impressive, really.
Yeah.
Does the student keep them? They turn them in every year and get it back? Or they
Turn them in at the end of the school year,
But they get the same one back?
and we get them back the same one. Yep. And if theirs breaks during the year, we have loaners that will loan out until theirs comes back and gets fixed, and then, so.
We do receive state set-aside technology funds that have flexibility, but we do receive around $150,000 a year, which is more than what it used to be. So part of the process, we will have to continue discussing what goes towards a PC, like a Windows laptop like this, what goes towards Chromebooks, what goes towards a computer lab, or do we have as much need for that since we have all the Chromebooks out there? So we've been talking about that. We'll have to continue to do that. You can lease purchase the Chromebooks over time. We have purchased these with grant funds, and when we first talked about this, I thought we can never afford $400,000 at one time to buy devices. Well, with the federal funding, we did, and so we stagger them out. We look at the needs, maybe we can get an additional year out of them, or, you know, if we have to, we can at least purchase them. That's one thing that's allowed to do. We have to figure out if that's a route that we want to do. So there are some options we have to maintain, try to maximize what we have, and it's kind of a learning process, you know.
Sure.
Chromebooks still new to us, 4 years, but how long will they really last? What gets outdated? So this is a good faith effort to get some while the funding is still here, have them set up for Eric to use, and then kind of every year reassess, reevaluate where we are.
And it's small dollars in the total package, but I just was curious.
Yeah,
The prices really haven't changed then.
yeah, they're not outrageously priced. I mean, that's a pretty reasonable amount to spend.
Yeah, we get on the Mountain State ESC, so Epic is the ESC locally. There's one out in West Virginia called Mountain State. They have a cooperative purchasing agreement that has the Chromebook pricing set on it, so we can piggyback on that. So that's helped us with the pricing and meets the requirements for purchases as well.
Okay. Any more questions?
Are the students provided a charge cord?
Yeah.
Do you have problems with that?
We do, that's probably our biggest issue is getting, if anything disappears, it's the chargers. And, you know, I think it was $7 or $8 for a charger, you know. And so, you know, Mr. Hedrick and myself and JP, we've talked several different times since we started with those, you know, we're gonna lose some cords. I mean, it is what it is. And so we know we're gonna have a little bit of upkeep for that each year. We try to get them back the best we can. But that's a hard piece to keep up with is the charger.
Have we considered providing the Chromebook and charger for the cord?
Well, you're gonna send a lot of bills that's $10, you know,
Yeah.
home, so. Yes, we've kind of discussed internally that that's just a cost we're gonna have to put out, so.
They started charging the kids that lost a Chromebook of the chargers up in Highland, so they know right, and the parents know right up front, they have to pay for it.
We've looked at a couple contracts with other counties, so it has been discussed quite a bit, going back and forth on that. But I know some counties are doing different. We looked at Grant counties, you mentioned Highland, so we'll continue to take a look at that. We want them to have the basic needs, we want them to be responsible, you know.
It happens with textbooks too. I mean,
Yeah.
You know,
But you think if a kid realizes that Chromebook's gonna save him snow days and stuff, and parents and stuff, they'll look at it a little bit different.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? Then all in favor of paying $639,350.02 in bills, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Nothing under budget revisions or financial update tonight, so that's all under item 6 for finance.
And that brings us to the facilities update.
Okay, so got a couple things. This Thursday, we will be having Board of Risk come in, and they will be walking through our buildings and taking a look at our facilities. Then we'll in a few weeks after that, we'll get a write-up back after that if they see improvements or concerns on their end, and then we'll work to address those. They come in about every 2 years and do that assessment with us. So Dan and I will be working with them on Thursday. We are going to replace a few windows at Brandywine that's on the front of the building, right underneath of the, excuse me, the School of Excellence sign. Those windows are single pane windows, they're very brittle, and a few of them are damaged anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and replace those. Lance is gonna do the work for us, and we'll get that taken care of here in the next couple of months. We talked about the alt-ed building a good bit. I'm working with Mike Rexroad on the ramp, trying to get that in, and then we're gonna work with Lance to get the finish the skirting around the bottom of it. And ASAP will be in finishing up the interior part, and then we'll be left with reconnecting the fiber from the building back over to that alt-ed building so we can get all of our systems back up and running in there. Just want to give you kind of an update of where we are with that project. So.
It's nice looking from the outside.
It's very nice.
I've been inside. but
The
I
inside,
like it.
once we get it up and running, we'll stop out there and take a
Yeah.
look at that. It's
Okay.
kind of hard, Mr. Hendrick and I have a hard time getting in and out of it, off of concrete blocks right now, but
Well,
the interior
I'll never
is,
get in.
in my opinion, is just as nice as the outside.
I just looked at the outside.
I'll tell you, seeing the building, it's a well-built building. I mean, overbuilt, really.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that another time.
Any questions under facilities? Okay, so that finishes us up under 7A in facilities, and we move to old business policies for review, final reading and approval.
Okay, these are the same policies that were discussed at the last board meeting. The employment of professional substitutes and the benefits and pay for the long-term subs when they met certain criteria, when the position was vacant and posted, and when the enhanced pay would start on that. So that's that document there on professional substitutes. And then the benefits section under holidays, the language that came over in the Neola template didn't really get into year-round employees or language that we had before about any days set aside by the governor or president. And if it falls within employment terms, such as a year-round employee, that would also be a holiday for those persons. So that goes into the professional section and service personnel section about the holidays, and the professional substitutes retroactive back to the start of school for the pay for the long-term subs that meet those criteria.
You have my recommendation to approve the final reading of the policies on review.
Our superintendent's recommending that we consider this a second and final reading and approve the policies. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? And all those in favor of approving the policies, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Under new business, we have superintendent's goals, but with everybody's permission, we will move that to the end of the meeting, and we'll go ahead and deal with the student transfers at this time.
You have my recommendation to approve student transfer 2425, number 15.
So we have a superintendent's recommendation to approve student transfer 2425, number 15.
I just wanted to see who it was.
Do we have a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all those in favor of approving student transfer 2425, number 15, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Board resolution recognizing student achievement. At the last meeting, we talked about it, and we have something there for you all to look at. And if it's good, we actually have a draft for everybody to sign, just recognizing all that has been accomplished by the students and staff members of the county. Do we have a motion? Oh, I should ask your recommendation, I guess. So that
If you
came
need
from
my
us.
recommendation on it,
That came from us, I
that came
guess, so.
from you all,
It
yes.
says adopted by the Pendleton County Board of Education on this day of September 2025.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
Should say Lisa.
Fiscal year 25, but calendar 24. Yeah.
I had to think. Are
Oh,
in
we will need to
25?
redo that. Can you print another one
I'll
for us
bring
this
that up
evening?
next week.
Okay.
Okay. So we will work on that and get it next week, but do we want to go ahead and have a motion to approve this resolution and we'll sign it next week?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Any discussion or any questions? Good catch on finding the date.
Yeah, thanks, Katie.
Well, I had to think.
All those in favor of approval of the resolution, please signify by saying aye. And opposed, no. Motion passes.
There should be a picture in the paper of you guys holding the resolution.
That would be good,
It's something to be proud of.
yes.
Telling us to dress nice next time.
Yeah.
I think that finishes us up under new business except for superintendent's goals. So we move to special education camera letter.
So each year we're required, Carrie's not here, I'll take care of this for her. Each year we're required to inform students and staff in our self-contained special education classrooms as required by state law. We do have cameras and recording devices, and we do have those in other areas. And this is just a notice to the parent and guardians and to our staff. It's the same letter I think we put out last year. I don't know if there's any changes in it, and I would recommend approval of that letter to be sent out again this year.
Our superintendent's recommending that we approve the special education camera letter. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? Then all in favor of approving the camera letter, please signify by saying aye. And opposed, no. Motion passes. School improvement student achievement.
Yeah, a couple of things on my list, and if Mr. Heather has anything he can add to it. We have a group of principals, and Barb will be going to some training in Romney on Thursday and Friday of this week. And it will be covering science of reading and unite with numeracy. It'll be a similar training that many of our teachers had this summer in Morgantown at the Invest Conference back in July. And then the other thing I had was we are wrapping up Benchmark 1 very quickly, and we're starting to pull some of the data from that, looking at scores from STAR assessments, STAR literacy, that type of thing. So we're getting off to a very quick start.
Actually, it's this one. It's,
Okay, good. Any questions? I've got my stuff all messed up here now. Sorry about that. Any questions under the facilities update? School improvement student
School
update.
improvement.
I told you I was all messed up.
You're going backwards, too.
I'm going the wrong direction in a hurry.
superintendent's update.
Now we go down to the superintendent's update. I'll get back on track maybe.
And one of the things that he mentioned I had in my update was to complete, we're in the process of completing our first benchmark and reviewing that data and working with our staffs on the, adjusting our instruction according to that. And that was one of the big pieces we talked about last year that added to our school improvement was the benchmarking, the focus on the data and focusing on improving our instruction by using that data. Next thing I have on my list is just a reminder that the School Board Association training is September 13th and 14th for fall training, and that's all I have. Updates.
Any questions for the superintendent under his updates? Conference and meeting update.
The only meeting update we have is, again, going back to the board training on the 13th and 14th. That's it.
Okay. Then, under superintendent's goals, we will do that under I guess I need to request having an executive session for the evaluation of the county superintendent, 18-4-6. Do we have somebody that would make a motion to go into executive session to deal with superintendent's goals?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or any questions? And all those in favor of going into executive session to deal with superintendent's goals, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. So at 6:10, we will go into executive session.
We go to conference room.
Yeah, let's go to the conference room.
this thing that's being corrected.
He went in.
Okay, so we are now live again, and so I will accept a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
We have a motion, second, to come out of executive session. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes, so we come out of executive session at 6:28 with no action taken. Do we have a motion to approve the superintendent's goals?
So moved.
So moved.
So we have a motion, and Wilma, you mind being second?
Yeah.
So we have a motion and second to approve the superintendent's goals. Any discussion on that? Any questions?
Okay.
Then all in favor of approving the superintendent's goals, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. That motion passes. Our next regular meeting will be held on Tuesday, September the 17th, here at 5:30, and I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes, and we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.